Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Brave Namibia. We kick off today's show with a trip to Keetmanshoop, our first for this show. Our correspondent there, Elizabeth Joseph, chats to well-known personality DJ Early.
My name is Earl Goliath. My name is Earl Goliath, more commonly known as DJ Early. Due to my interest in music production, or let me rather say the entertainment section here in the South. I grew up, like I said, in the dusty streets of Cheekplachte, that's in Keetmanshoop. We had to be crafty. We did not come from what they call a privileged family, in the sense of having money, so you always had to be crafty to do, to make your own toys, to make your own playthings. So that's where my initial interest in arts began. I created stuff. I was interested in visual arts. I made drawings of family photos and stuff like that. And I was usually the guy that the other kids came to when they wanted a drag car. So yeah, that's where my passion started for the arts. When I went to Windhoek, grade 8 to start my secondary education, I was enrolled into the visual arts, the conservatorium in Windhoek, and I spent about 2 years there doing visual arts. But when I came back to Keetmanshoop, grade 11, to complete my secondary education back here in my hometown at Central High School, I started switching, but it's still arts, though it's still arts. So I switched to dance groups. That's where the Kwaito dance sensation came in Keetmanshoop. And that's where I started my own group, a dance group. We initially called ourselves the Duck Piece. Okay, if I could speak to my 16-year-old self, 16-year-old for a young man, let me say, not young man, it's still an adolescent or a teenager, yeah. Time management. Time management is one of the best tools that you can have. Instead of sitting down and watching a movie for 2 hours, 2 hours is quite a lot of time which you can use to be productive with. So basically focus on what you want, the goal that you want to achieve, what you want to achieve, and everything. When it's in the head, the best way to get it into practice is to put it on paper first. To put it on paper, and then you can visually see what you want to do instead of just thinking about it all the time. And then with time management, align your work, go to your goal, plan your work and work on your plan.
So James said, what? Bring nog a gun, my bro.
Moving on to Windhoek, Tanja Bause, who is very popular with her Ons Mense segment, recently reported on Jennine van Jaarsveld. Here is the video footage of that inspiring interview.
Yes, my name is Jennine van Jaarsveld. I'm 36 years old. I was born in Keetmanshoop. Grew up in Bruna, a very small little town between the train tracks. I went to school in South Africa, studied there, and then I came to Namibia in 2005. I've had a love for motorcycles since I can remember. I used to buy Bike ZA magazine since the age of, I think, 6, or whatever the case is. And used to just love motorcycling. I used to have a motorcycle on the farm, and used to go ride a lot with other people. I was never privileged enough to have my own bike. Then I bought my first motorcycle, I think at the age of about 27, and it was a small CBR 250 Honda, and learned to ride, do some road riding on that. And then I was privileged enough in 2017 to win my first real motorcycle, which is a Harley Davidson 750 Street, and that's how I basically got into Harley riding. In 2020 January, we did a WRWR trip, a Women Riders World Relay trip, which was probably the highlight of my motorcycling in general. It was about 3,500 kilometers. We were about 36 women that did that trip, for that specific trip I bought a bike, Harley Davidson CVO Ultra, beautiful bike, and her name was Bibi, and we basically Bibi and I rode everywhere together. Then on my 36th birthday, we decided to go to Swakop for the weekend. Friends of ours, Carl and Steffi Greiling, my partner and I, and I think literally about 4 kilometers just before Arandes, I picked up a speed wobble on the bike. Tried to control it, tried to ride it out, didn't work. And at some point I just realized I needed to leave the road. I did, and there was a telephone pole. I just knew I needed to pass that pole because poles and trees and bikes don't go together. And just behind the pole there was like a heap of rocks, and I hit the rocks, and that was the last I can remember of it. I woke up with people standing around me telling me that I just need to lie still, got really, really badly injured. And I think the first time that I realized something was really wrong was at the hospital when they said to me that it's an amputation. I didn't quite understand what it meant. But I then afterwards obviously realized that I have a right above knee amputation caused by the accident. So there was nothing they could do. They couldn't save the leg. The accident was on Saturday morning. I think I woke up on about Monday evening. And yeah, I think subconsciously I just already dealt with the fact that I have an amputation. I think the biggest frustration was the fact that I couldn't use both my hands because I broke both my wrists and arms and hands. So that was a bigger frustration than the actual amputation itself. I was in hospital for 2 weeks. Everybody said that I was going to be there for about 3 months. But I'm quite determined, so decided that ain't going to happen for me. So was out in 2 weeks, went to Speske, absolutely amazing facility. Did my rehabilitation there. And sure, can I say, spent 2 months in Speske. And it was a total new thing. I had to learn to, because I had so much damage inside and outside my body, I literally had to learn to sit again, to walk again, to turn in bed again, to do the normal things that people do generally. Took me about 2 months, and then I came back to Windhoek, back home, and what can I say? I was very determined. I wanted to ride again. So 10 months and 12 days after the accident, I got on a bike and I rode myself. So we bought a GS for the occasion, GS 1200, and we had a sidecar made for it.
And as I understood it, the sidecar was meant for you.
Yes, initially. The sidecar was meant for me, so the GS with the sidecar, so that I could sit in the sidecar, and Renee was going to want to ride it, my partner. But I just can't, I love riding and I need to ride, so I'm riding the bike and she's now sitting in the sidecar. And I only need my left leg for the gears and my right hand for the front brake, and I have both of those, so what can I say? Yeah, and I have a very, very supportive group of friends. So just after the WRWR, we started a riding group. We call ourselves Divergence. It literally started off just as a riding group. And then after the accident, it was during the time of COVID, and people kind of, we weren't riding, people weren't, it was lockdown and all of that. And we obviously, my accident happened, and we just didn't ride for quite some time. But then what happened was that we decided we wanted Divergence to be more. And Beatrix de Jager, who started Divergence, she then started running with us. And we are now in the process of registering Divergence as a non-profit organisation. We've done a couple of small little projects so far, but nothing serious because we're not registered as yet. So awaiting our registration, we'll be able to do much more. But the whole idea is to make a difference. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned from this accident and from all this is that you really have two choices. You can go sit in a corner and you can say, I feel sorry for myself and why did this happen to me, and what am I going to do now, and my life's over, and or you can see yourself not as being disabled but just differently abled. So you take every other opportunity that comes to you and you make the best of it. And at this point in time, what we're trying to do, especially through Divergence, is to make a difference in every living being. It doesn't matter whether it's an animal or a person, just make a difference. So So far, I've had an opportunity to work with a couple of people together with occupational therapy solutions. Had a couple of interactions with other amputees and talked them through the process and what's lying ahead, and kind of just give some advice in terms of that. So it's really about change of direction in your life, taking whatever is coming your way, make the best of it, really. So, yeah.
Do you have any advice for other people that are in similar situations?
Don't see this as the end. This is just a new beginning. It's a new beginning for you. Your life's going to change, that's for sure, and your life's going to be different. But your life's not over. It really is what you make of it. And I have a mentor that keeps on telling me, if it is to be, then it's up to me. So, take what your cards has been dealt. You can't change it. It's what you've been given. So, my advice would really be, take it and make the best of it. Learn from the experience, and try and help other people through that, because you're not the first one and you're not going to be the last one to go through that. And there are other people out there that really need support, a helping hand, a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on, or maybe just some advice. And if you've gone through this and you've made the best of it, and you've, I can't say embrace it, but embraced it, then you have an opportunity to make a difference in somebody else's life. So people have asked me, if I'm crazy riding again, and what's going through my mind. But what can I say? I love every challenge, and I love adventures. So the devil doesn't want me, and God isn't done yet. So we're gonna ride this life out. So what can I say?
In this never-ending world of same, it's easy to just do what everyone else has done. Follow a path that you know will get you there. But where is there? The same place as everyone else? Now, getting it right is good, but it's really about how you get there that makes your story worth telling. Take whiskey, for example. There are ways to make it that have worked for over 1,000 years. There are rules, tradition, and rich history. Mastery built over generations, and we salute them. But we also believe in trying new things. You can't do same and expect to break fresh ground. You need new ideas that build on the old. Like a musician taking a classic track and lovingly rearranging it. New beat, fresh lyrics, creating a totally new sound. Use the old, bring in the new to give it your own spin. Make it better, from mastery to remastery. That's exactly how we came to make our single grain whiskey. Made in a little distillery in a small sleepy town at the mouth of the Bainskloof Pass. A place of beauty, purity and nature. Hardly the whiskey capital of the world, but being small means that you can try things the old guard can't. Our founder distiller knew this. He took sun-kissed South African maize, then he matured his whiskey not once but twice, uniquely balancing the smoothness of Irish whiskey with the sweetness of bourbon for a lingering warm finish, creating a taste that kept winning against the old masters, including being world's best single-grain whiskey. That's 29 awards in just over 10 years. Not that we're counting. Baines, Mastery Remastered.
If you know someone that you feel should feature in our show, makes no difference where they are in the country or what language they speak, please contact us at brave@nmh.com.na.